Firefighters give everything to their communities. At firehousefurniture.com, we make furniture worthy of that sacrifice. Durable, comfortable, built to last. firehousefurniture.com.
Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene. If they've been command, give me a CAN report.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein of the C.A.N Report. Mazel tov, everybody. I have a great guest with me today. I have Jeffrey Bryant from FireNuggets, and we are going to be talking about who he is, what FireNuggets does for the fire service as a whole, and just to get some background information on him and talk about some great fire conferences that will be coming up for the new year. To any kind of rabbit hole we can jump down. Jeffrey, thank you so much for being on the C.A.N Report.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the invite and excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And I always like to give a shout out to my sponsors. I have Engine House Designs, LLC. It's a guy out of Memphis, Tennessee, Cody Hill, doing great things with his business. Chore coats, hats, flags, stickers, you name it. Like he did the flag behind me. He's here for us to get some good gear for either our union or departments or even just your own company. So hit up Engine House Designs LLC and see what they're about. Also, the Kitchen Table Foundation is a foundation that's been doing great things for mental health for us, for first responders, for the military, for vets. Check out their website, the Kitchen Table Foundation. They are really, really doing great things. They're out of Arkansas right now. They've been setting up chapters around the nation and promoting what they're doing. They are a nonprofit organization, literally here to help us find people to talk to. So check out the Kitchen Table Foundation. Now, if you like what's going on, just hit the like, subscribe, and tell me I'm doing bad or tell me I'm doing good. Or if there's someone you want to see on, let me know. With that being said, we're going to jump right into it. So, Jeff, I'm going to get into your bio real quick here, my friend.
Can I cut you off real quick?
Yeah.
So Cody Hill, you want to know how small of a world it is? I actually was one of Cody Hill's first fire instructors.
No way.
Yeah.
That is a wicked small world. He is such a great guy.
Yeah.
He's so cool. I met him in Mississippi, and we hit it off, and we just started doing this whole venture together.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. Down there in Memphis doing his thing. So
yeah,
I support him. He's doing a great thing.
Yes, sir. I love that you said that. That's great. Also, if you want to look for new podcasts, he's also doing a podcast as well, Engine House Podcast. He just started that up, so he's already been killing it with some great guests on there. So check out Engine House Podcast as well. And for Mr. Bryant here, Jeff Bryant, fire service career began in 2007 when he joined his small town volunteer fire department as a third-generation firefighter. He served a couple suburban fire departments until 2014 when he was hired by the Aurora, Illinois Fire Department. He is currently assigned to second shift as a roving lieutenant. Brian's true passion lies in training and cultivating the next generation of firefighters. He is a multifaceted instructor, blessed to be part of Southern King County Training Association, Illinois FireNuggets, Firefighter Rescue Survey, Brothers in Battle, and more. He has been behind some truly passionate events, including West Coast Truck Academy, FireNuggets Search School, Midwest Area Fire Academy, Virtual Truck/Search Academy, and Firemanship. As of January 2024, Bryant has been selected by the board to serve as the president for FireNuggets, a fire service training organization. Behind Bryant is his very supportive wife, Ashley, and their three pretty cool children, Everly, Emmy, and Brody. Love it. Thank you so much, my friend. I really do appreciate you being on here.
Yeah, excited to see what we talk about, and pretty much anything's on the board. So,
all right,
whatever you want to hit.
So, we start off right into it. What is FireNuggets?
So FireNuggets started in the late 90s, but I believe the first iteration of it came out in 2000. So it's a nonprofit, 501c3. But when it started in the late 90s and the 2000s, it was started by Ted Corporandi and Paul Schuler. Both were officers out here, or not out here, geez, I'm in the Midwest, but they were out on the West Coast. So they started the first ever online publication magazine for firefighters. So they had some greats on there. We actually have all of the old articles and files on our website still. Andy Fredericks, big one on there. Chief Hoff, Mark Wesseldine, Justin McWilliams at later times. I mean, we have pretty much a great group of fire service instructors that you have seen pretty much all across the country writing. And I want to say that went on for probably from 2000 to 2000, probably about 7 to 10 years. And then they kind of slowed things down. They were looking into retirement and things like that. And then in 2014, firefighters actually purchased it from Ted and from Paul, and they actually created the nonprofit for it. And they still did some iterations of the magazine, but it wasn't like the main focus of it. The main focus of it was training. So they started hosting events, and Boise, Boise Firefighter Symposium, and Mile High Fire Conference were kind of their first two, along with Bay Area Fire Conference as well. Those were kind of like the big three, if you will, and then just a bunch of small classes, conferences, and things like that. So that was in 2014. That was led up by Dave Sprague, Alfonso Muniz, and PK. So those guys kind of led the way, and they got the nonprofit status. We don't do anything really for the profit. We just try not to, lose thousands of dollars when we do this. So we're basically the back end logistical support for anything anyone could want to do, and we can basically make our assistance be anything that you need. So if you need help with registration, we can help with that. If you need help with insurance, we can help with that. If you need help with a website, advertisements, getting instructors, consulting to see what would work out best. And then, if you use us for registration, the financial aspect comes into it too. We help out financially. So if you're like, oh, I really want to try this, but I can't really fork out, $10K to start it, then we come in, we run a budget, and we're like, well, we can front it, and then as long as you have XYZ amount of, students, we make that money back, and then you're good to go. So we work hand in hand with a lot of Fools chapters as well. March Mayhem's probably the biggest one that we work with for their conference. So basically, we've grown exponentially since 2014. I want to say we have about, if you split New England up, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, if you split them up into, the 6 states respectively, I want to say we have about 27 or 28 affiliates. So basically those affiliates are in charge of their state, helping bring, conferences, classes, whatever you want basically to that state. And they are the rep, I guess you would say. So like we've done some things in Iowa that our rep Tina hasn't necessarily been a part of, but she helps with every step of the way. The same thing, with text and other things like that. So we're kind of all over the place, but we do have a lot of West Coast, a lot of Midwest, and then we have Texas and Florida are our main south ones. And then as far as the East Coast, it is kind of not popping yet. We do have New England, and then we do have a New York. And then other than that, we are looking into actively right now in North Carolina and South Carolina.
Wow, that's a lot. That is, it's great that you're reaching so far and wide. I do notice that we don't pop so much in the East Coast, like you said. I think the training events and what goes on seems to happen more often in the southern area and more of the west area. We do have great events, but they're very limited. And I don't know if it's because of weather or what, but we don't get very often good big training events. I know we have the one that, that was in Rhode Island just a few months ago. That was a really good event. Of course, we have Joey D in New York area. But as I've seen, just Illinois with, you have your firemanship. That's a huge event you guys put on. I love seeing what you guys are doing. And that's why I really wanted to have you on here, is just for people to know what FireNuggets is. For me, I see it all over the place, but I never really knew what you guys are actually doing.
Yeah. We do a lot. I would say, as far as students wise, if you count our virtual series and everything, I would say we do easily probably 10,000 plus students, give or take. So, I would have to go and look at our registration account, but I would say anywhere between 5,000-10,000 and above student count. Our webinars that we do obviously help us exponentially on that. But the cool thing is, and I'm just lucky to have the network that I do. Cody is one of my closest friends. Mick Williams, one of my closest friends, out there. And I can just, text and be like, hey, man, we're looking to do this webinar series, or, I'd like to bring you in and do this. And they just say yes. They don't really need much explanation. And that's also too I don't want to call it a service, but that's something that we help with, right? So if Guy calls and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking to do a fire conference. I really just want it to be like about like, engine company ops and then search and rescue ops. Who do you think?" And then I can list off, 10 engine company instructors and 10 search instructors. And then basically we just hammer out the dates, ask those guys which one works for them, and then we line up their conference for them. Basically consulting, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you help pick out the venue as well? Like in my neck of the woods, there's not many areas we can use for actual training grounds. We don't have a lot of training facilities that will let us do a lot of that work. So do you help like try to find or, scout an area for people looking to put on events?
As far as hands-on, not really, but for lectures, we also do consult with that as well, because typically a lot of people, if they come to firemanship, right, we have the beautiful Paramount Theater and it's incredible, but it is a high amount of your budget that will go into that. So like if you're just going to have, 50, 60 students and your firehouse, which there's a lot of fucking cool firehouses out there, man. So like if your firehouse can hold 50 or 60 people and the only downfall is you can't drink in there, then you got to kind of weigh the odds of free versus like $3,000 to $5,000 and you can have like a beer or two. Like which one works for your budget and what are you ultimately looking for? Do you care that the students have a beer, or do you care about the information and then they can have a beer afterwards, So you got to kind of weigh those back and forth. And then as far as hands-on, man, that comes down to like the local people in the affiliate kind of having those ins. I know Justin Yanisic in Boston, they're kind of trying to find the best sites that would work for them for their Metro Boston conference that's going to be coming up soon. And that's a difficult thing is training sites. And the other thing is if you find them, sometimes people don't want to give them to you because they're like, you, Mike, you're going to make $3,000 off of this. I know it, and we should get a cut of that pie. And then even after you show them the nonprofit work, you could show them the budget and everything. You could be like, well, we'll just rent the damn thing. Like, I don't care. Right. Like, we just want the firefighters to get trained. And then after like the first year when they're like, holy shit, you guys actually like lost money, you guys really are doing this like for the right reasons. Then they're like, all right, hey, that rental fee can go from 1,000 a day to 500 a day, things like that. As
It's
far as
like for my neck of the woods, it's difficult because like for our academy up in our state, it's very red tape oriented, and it's if you're gonna have, 80 plus people ascend onto the drill yard, that's a lot of headache for them. And so not crapping over that academy, but it's difficult to try to keep up and make sure that things don't get broken or who gets hurt. And so it's very very red tape about trying to get anything. We're very blessed to have an Explorer Academy there that they let us use the grounds for free, but that's probably about it. Like, training events or conferences is not going to happen up there.
yeah, which I guess, I mean, it depends on how, I don't know if I would call it folding on their end, but we do have a lawyer as well, and we can actually write up language, that says if there is any injuries or anything like this, yada, 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 it doesn't fall back on to that host organization. Because that is, obviously something when it involves red tape, that is a problem, right? So that is something too that we have in our back pocket.
Now, why is it that you wanted to do this? This is a lot of work. Why did you want to do it?
I, man, I guess it's a long story, man. So like
Well, we
Dave
got
and
time.
yeah, yeah. So like Dave and the fellas took it over, in that 24 time, and I think it was like it was either 2017 or 2018. I was actually on like the website. I used to love going to Firehouse forums, and you could just go in there and read like every single thing, and it was incredible. And I remember I found the FireNuggets, and it's like, start your affiliate, email here. And I was like, oh, well, fuck it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So click it, boom. I got like an email like 2 weeks later, and they're like, hey, we'll get the board together, sit down with you. And then, so basically starting an affiliate is you can take your state and you could be the go-to person for that, right? So, my state actually has a lot of training, but I feel like a lot of it is certification based. And then other than that, because like departments get not refunded, but they get reimbursed for, you know, certain certification training. It's required for this and that. So I was like, man, I just want to do like, you know, force entry, stretch hose lines, throw ladders, search and rescue. That's kind of training I want. Like, I don't care about like the certification based stuff. So this is kind of like right up my alley. So turned in the application, they got back to me and they said, okay, let's run like a class or two. My first two classes were Dennis Laguerre came out and did a hydrants and nozzles class, and we sold it out, and he did an incredible job. I learned so much in that 2 day, and like I'm taking them out to dinner those 2 nights, 3 nights, you know. So I'm learning like exponentially the shit that the people aren't learning in the class. So just like my knowledge of engine company operations became tenfold. And this is exactly what like Dave Sprague told me, is like the network, the friendships, and like everything knowledge base wise you'll learn from just doing this and hosting classes and this and that is tenfold. And it's gonna benefit you so much in the long run. And it already has. And then my second class was Brothers in Battle, their VES class. And this is kind of what stuck me with it for the long haul to where I'll probably never stop. Is we did their VES class in Carroll Stream. Great class, sold out. Budget wise for both classes was on, no problems. Did everything logistically wise we needed to do. And the class in Carroll Stream had 2 guys from Fort Dodge, Iowa. So they do the class, and I remembered one of them Nick had talked to Cody at the end of the class and said that their culture was like against, you know, searching from a window, and that they would probably get written up for it. So about 2 weeks goes by, and Nick and Orlando, the two that came to the class, they email me and say, hey, check this shit out. And it was them. They made a VES grab, first one ever in the department, 2 weeks after they took the class. So then like you start really thinking about, I call Cody and tell him, you know, so he can kind of blast it out. And because that's like super cool, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then Cody's like, well, you know, if you would have like never hosted that class, like I'm not saying that woman wouldn't have been rescued, but like, you know, would it have been as fast and as efficient, and would her chances of living diminished, right? So then like I kind of went hardcore after that and was like, man, we got to bring this, we got to bring that, and offer as much opportunity to firefighters as we can. Because like Brian Brush says, you know, once you get outside your 4 walls, you realize there are no walls, you know, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just got to go places, you get to network. You know, the only place you network shouldn't be at the local union conventions, you know, right? Like to go out, go to a fire conference, talk about tactics, talk about operations and things like that. And that's what doing this kind of allows. Did that stuff for Illinois FireNuggets for like 2 or 3 years. And then Dave was the president at the time, said, hey, I'd really like to get you on the board. I kind of want to start looking at my departure eventually as the president. And I got like a few people I'd like to bring up, you know, to potentially fill that void. So I said, yeah, I'll go on the board. So I became part of the board. I was doing the meetings and stuff. And then I think it was 22. They said that was when Dave decided to step down, and give me 1 sec. Sorry. So Dave decided to step down, and Chris Slayer became the president for a term. And we actually, because of our size, because we were growing pretty fast, we decided to add a vice president, which we hadn't had before. And then I got nominated for the vice president and accepted that. And then once Chris did his term, he stepped down as well. And then that was when I stepped in. So that's what we're doing now. We're growing exponentially, but also too, we're trying to like define how we do it, because we want to do it effectively. Because if we move forward, even though it excites me to have, you know, like I kind of don't want to be done with it until we have every state, and like Canada has a couple, and, you know, a couple things like that. But we also have to do it effectively. Otherwise, it'll just fall apart once we take our finger off the pulse on it, you know? So just have to grow effectively, and that's the plan.
Yeah, I love it that you're actually like methodical about it and not just hurrying up to get big, because that's where your mission gets lost, right? Like the message gets lost, that you're just trying to grow so fast and so quick and reach so many people, then all of a sudden it starts getting watered down and things get lost. So I think that's great. Now, what I love too is that you talked about is like not just the training. And I love it when people bring that up, is the networking part. And I think that's for me, that's some of the most fun parts of it, is meeting people like yourself and meeting people that just absolutely love doing this, and you get to meet them and hang out with them and talk shop, and you walk away with so much more knowledge. Even if you didn't take a class, you've already gained so much knowledge about how their departments run or what they're going through in life. Like, I always love talking to people about that. Like, what's your culture like, or what are some of the hangups you got going on? And you never realize there's people in the world that are literally having the same issues like you, and you get to do that through those networking and those conferences.
Yeah, networking is very important. I actually joke that that's probably the only positive thing I have about me is my network. Like, if there's something broke at the firehouse, like a chainsaw, a chisel, or we broke a Halligan bar or something like that, something that you need a loaner or you need something new, like immediately through a network, I know a guy that knows the guy to get pretty much anything. Right. And that only comes from what I've been doing. Right. When you go to these shows, like you're seeing Elkhart brass, you're seeing keyhoes, you're seeing fire mall tools, council bars, anything. Right. Like you just have access to pretty much anything, and even further than just talking to them at the pub, like, hey man, can I get your email or, phone number or whatever? So if I have questions, I can call. Email is fantastic because people don't feel like it's like ultra personal to where they're like, I don't know if I want to give Mike my email or my phone number, right? But email's fine. He can email me and then I can give it a couple days, get back to him and things like that. Networking is probably the number one thing I think that we have going on right now in the fire service. And it's like, you think back to, the 60s and 70s, you go to a fire conference. I mean, they're not giving out their goddamn home phone numbers to people then, So, I mean, like all they had to go off of back then was word of mouth from the salesman, their local jurisdiction fire departments around them, and their local trade magazines, right? Now if somebody's trying to update their attack package, dude, you can reach out to Kyle, you can reach out to Jay, you can reach out to James. There are so many fucking people you can just reach out to, and they'll tell you, like, they'll be upfront with you. They're just going to give you their time because they love it and they care about it, right? Like, we have never been at a better time to fix anything that's fucking wrong in the fire service at all. Now,
Couldn't agree more.
If people's ego and pride could fucking be dropped, that would definitely tenfold fix a lot more things, but...
Man, yeah, that's a whole nother episode, right? Like that, I couldn't agree more on that one. That's a really difficult part for sure. The egos and tearing each other down. That's a like I said, that could be another like 5-hour podcast right there of talking about just that. But you're right. Like, we are in a great world where we have everything at our fingertips that we can now meet everybody. And there's so many conferences, there's so many things to do, and so much information that you can gather from just sitting around everybody now, and being able to literally just message somebody and say, hey, I saw you do this online, tell me more about it. And then, again, the great instructors and presenters that are out there, like, I'll give you everything I got. Just give me credit for it. Don't label it as yours. Like, a lot of the conferences I've been to and lectures, I love it when the presenter's like, here it is. Like, everyone's trying to take pictures, right? Because they want to get all the notes. And the presenter's like, no, put your phone down. I'm going to give you all of this. You don't have to take pictures. I'll give you my notes. I'll give you the slides. Like John Norman, I think it was, he said, like, you can have this. Just don't use my pictures. There's pictures up there of personal friends and members that are special to me, but you can have everything else. I love that. I think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And like, I have my father-in-law, we were talking about like the old school stuff of having to read things up, like all of his information. He gave me all these old magazines. He gave me the old New York magazines. So that was his information. Like, I have catalogs of the old school Firefighter magazines from New York. And he would just tell me all the articles that he would read in here. This is what he would, because he is a retired firefighter. So my father-in-law was like, this is the stuff that we would learn from. New York would publish their information and their trainings in these magazines, and that's where we'd get a bulk of our information back in the 70s, 1971, 1980. Like, that was his shit. And now we've got, Instagram and TikTok and stuff where we can do this right, like, now. It's a wonderful world.
Yeah. It's we have everything we could ever want at our fingertips. every single day.
So now you mentioned March Mayhem. What are you doing to help them with that conference?
So Gino and the fellas, we do everything on the back end besides actually physically being there. So we do their registration. When you go to like register for March Mayhem, you'll see like it'll say like regfox.firenuggets.March Mayhem or something like that. So we run all their registration. So all the like costs for like if you're going to take a lecture series or a hands-on class, all that comes into our general accounting stuff. And then once they need to like pay people or book flights or hotels or something like that, that's where we come in with our financial stuff and handle all that for them. So they don't actually have to do anything financially. And then we do everything on the back end. We book the flights, book the hotels, Airbnbs, get the W-9 for the tax forms for the instructors, pay the instructors, and then any like lumber or food or water or anything like that. Gino just reaches out and says, hey man, I got a, thing at Home Depot, can you pay for it? And then boom, yep, throw it in his budget. So we make sure that they're on budget. And then it's a large conference and we have a small part in it. And we just do the struggling hard part on the back end that most people have a hard time with.
Wow, that's impressive. What a great resource to have, where again, the people who are trying to just stay true to the conference and get things to be like where they want it, and then all that extra work, you guys are helping with that. That's a huge relief.
Yeah, I mean, my wife actually helps out with a considerable amount of it. And when I do like hands-on classes here in Illinois, like I don't have to worry about anything. I just send her a receipt. She punches all of it into the budget for me and things like that. So she's pretty much the saving grace for me and the organization as well. So she makes it run smoothly.
That is awesome. I love that your wife gets to help you with that. Helps helps a lot.
Yeah.
So, do you teach as well? I saw in your resume that or your bio that you do a lot of these conferences. So I imagine you also get to help teach at some of these events and be an instructor and have some fun.
Yeah, so I mainly am with Brothers in Battle, and then with the rescue survey, I don't actually teach for the rescue survey because that was kind of our rule for the board of directors was none of us would actually teach for the organization. We would just teach individually and teach about it. So like Mick Williams, myself, Nick Ledeen, Jonah, J-Lo, like all of us go out on our own. So like a independent contractor, if you will. And then like if somebody else asked me, like Watertown, Wisconsin, asked me to come up and do a 4th century class. So, but mainly I do stuff with Brothers in Battle, and then we have our own fire academy and such too at work. But that's my main thing is Brothers in Battle.
And you mentioned forcible entry, things like that. Is that your thing? Do you like forcible entry? Is that what you like to teach?
I'd actually say my favorite is probably search and rescue, but pretty much, I mean, I guess we do a lot of truck ops, but I pretty much do search and rescue, engine, and force. And then, I mean, ladder stuff is also involved in some of our classes too. But those are kind of our main things.
Now, what is it about search and rescue that you like the most? Again, some people love to be doing, suppression work or whatever other kind of things. But what is it about for search and rescue that you like a lot?
Well, to quote my good friend Kyle Romagus, rescue is the objective. It's not a task. So everything that we do revolves around the rescue or the potential rescue, right? So like, it's not like you arrive on scene. When you arrive on scene to a fire, everyone's first thought should be this place is occupied until we prove that it's not, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
like when the battalion, like if you want to get nerdy and break this down, like from like a command structure point of view, like tactics and strategies wise, the incident commander has 2 strategies, man. Rescue everyone inside and put the fire out. Done deal, right? That's all he needs to worry about. However he needs to support that or she needs to support that operation, support it, and then your job is done as long as the tactics get done. And then the company officers, will be like, okay, we're going to force this door and start a search on 2. That's their tactic. The first line, hey, we're going to stretch the line to the front door and start knocking down the kitchen fire. That's their tactic. And the firefighters, the ones actually doing the task, right? They're the ones stretching the line, forcing the door, going and doing the search and shit, right? So doing the rescue survey stuff like really made me care that much more about, search and rescue. And then like I got in with the rescue survey stuff in like 18 or 19, and then 1 or 2 years in, I made my own rescue, which then like exacerbated everything. And it just like was like, oh, I love this shit. And then, when you really see how many civilian deaths we have per year, and how many people we're actually rescuing, it's so like invigorating to just want to help people get better at that. To give the victims like a fighting chance. And then when you see like the terrible, sad stories about like the fire department not deciding not to go in or not to effect a rescue, and the woman's on the phone with dispatch, she's still alive, and it's just it's gut wrenching, and it makes our profession look weak. And I don't think the giants that we are following ever want us to look weak.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer, man. Absolutely. I love when we talk about Justin McWilliams. I do love what he preaches. He's so passionate about it, where, like I think people reading it, like he seems angry, and sometimes he's rightfully so, because, we, like you said, we don't want to look weak in the fire service, that we can be better. We need to do better. I love the energy and the passion that you guys bring forth with trying to really hit home that we need to get in there, and we need to search, and we need to be better for the people that we swore an oath to protect.
Yeah. Justin on social media comes at you very punch in your facey. Justin is probably one of the kindest people I've ever met. Calls me about every 2 to 3 weeks just to say what's up, and I want to see how me and the family's doing. At the end of the day, dude, like, just because we're coming out to present information, we're people too. Like I always crack up because I still can't believe I'm part of the groups I'm a part of, right? So like when I'm wearing this awesome red shirt and shit at the socials and stuff, and you could tell people are like, oh fuck, dude, is that Cody and the crew and shit? And then like they're like kind of hesitant to come up and talk to us, and we're like, yo, dude, we're just people. We're just people. And lucky enough to come out and present information with passion and pride and just excitement. Like there's nothing different from you other than what I've learned through training, mistakes, and calls, right? Like, and you could have the same knowledge too, just a different perspective.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny you hit that on, is that it really is from the outside looking in, man. When we see the cadre members have got, whether it's their, they got a special hat, a patch, a T-shirt, whatever they're wearing to signify that they're part of that group. From us as the students, we're like, as we're done with our evolutions, or it's going to be a social hour, we're all like looking around going, hey, is that? And like, should we go and talk to them? I don't want to bother them. It's literally like when you go like see someone like honestly like famous, right? You're like, I don't want to bother them. They're in the group together. But man, when you actually get out of that little like fanboy moment and you go up and talk, everyone is just like, yeah, let's talk shop, whatever you want to talk about. That's what we're here for. I love the events where they have people where they actually incorporate that, where you can actually just sit down and have an environment where instructors and students who paid to be there are there to all get together and do the network and to talk and get to know each other, because you meet such amazing people and really get to pick the brains, like have a little intimate conversation. And, there's some events where you don't get that. Like all of a sudden they're all pushed to the side, the keynotes and the instructors, they go to a different room, and then, you might see them walking around, but it's really hard to get a hold of them and talk to them because they're really busy or they got to go to another block. But, like, the conferences I've been to, it's been really great to see that where they're trying to like let everybody enjoy everyone's company. And I heard great things about Brothers in Battle. I had a friend of mine from New Hampshire. He went to Brothers in Battle and he absolutely loved it. He was just glowing from it. So what is it special about Brothers in Battle?
I think the two biggest things are probably our approach, and then the other one is our logistical end. Our approach, and Cody says it at the start of every one of our classes, is we are not egotistical. We don't fucking hit you with bullshit. And if we don't know an answer to something, we're not going to lie to you. We're going to tell you the truth. And if we don't know the answer that you're seeking, we're going to find it. We have, 40 to 50 members on our cadre. So we can find the answer relatively from one of us. And then like on the logistical side, did he just take a class recently?
I believe it was last year he went.
Okay, last year. We did have a couple New Hampshire guys just in our grabs class we did. So
I think it was him, like it was Tim Griswold. He's got a big old blonde mustache, glasses.
Yeah, okay. I know Tim. So like we just did this grabs class in Illinois here, and it was the first class we've ever done like this. So basically what we did was we took 9 real rescues that have occurred. They either have pictures, audio, grabs podcasts, or whatever. And we're like, we're gonna make those 9 things into scenarios, and then we're gonna let the students reenact them, basically. And the cool thing was out of the 9 rescues we had, I think we only had 2 or 3 that the people that actually made the rescue weren't there. Like, I mean, we had a rescue with bars that had to be removed with a victim right there at the bars. We had a removal using a can to suppress the fire, going up the stairs with a Vic, knee wall problems on a second floor removal, 3 plus rescues in one, a window to a door. I mean, we had everything. And the logistical part of that is that took 5 days of setup. So we had to actually, we had to build the knee walls. We had to build out the props for the rebar. We had to build out the window wells and things like that. Like anytime we go and do a class, like we're going to do a Force Entry Academy in California here in about 3 weeks. They're already doing a logistical setup for it right now. So they're setting up the doors and all this stuff. Like when we go into, Mile High Fire Conference, Bay Area, any other fire conference, we get there a full day at least ahead of time. And we are literally changing their entire training ground to match what we need. And we go and get furniture, we go and get clothing, bedding, because we make it real, right? Like you're not just going to dump into somebody's house and it's a concrete floor with nothing inside, So, and the cool part is, probably the coolest part is we try to have enough help to where one of us or somebody else helping out in the class is the Vic. So, and like when you hear that Halligan bar, ting, 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 and then like they smack your leg and they're like, holy shit, they're real, right? Like that adds just like a whole different element. So I think like we do give like a lot of like skills, and we do give a lot of mindset. I would say mindset's probably like our number one driving factor with a lot of our classes. We definitely give skills that are a little bit different than most people. I mean, a lot of people are still dragging, unfortunately, like that CPAT EMS drag where the victim's head's like super high, where we do like mostly leg drags for everything, right? So like people are like, oh, what the hell is that? We're masking up with gloves on. And then, Force Entry, get into a little bit more stuff, but like search and rescue wise, like that's kind of it. And then we go after it, right? So it's the experience, it's the mindset, and it's kind of how we interact with them. Like we have 50 people and we all have like a different teaching style, and it's incredible. Like Cody's like very energetic and like screaming across the fire ground and this and that, Matt, he's very calm, is excited about, truck work, ladders, saws, and all that stuff. I'm very chill, reserved, but then, get like an energy drink or two and I'm excited and, screaming around the fire ground too. So I think just like the experience, the mindset, the fire ground, the preparedness of the training ground and everything, I think that's really what just sets our stuff apart. Full transparency for anyone who goes to take our classes, we are not an 8 to 4 class. We are about an 8 to 8 class. I want to say the earliest I've ever gotten out is like 6:30.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but we do classes all across the country. So it's definitely really cool. Gotten to travel all over the place for it, and I never thought that would ever happen.
It is great. I was just looking at the site as you're talking. I'm going to share that so everybody else can see it as well. So here's a list of your instructors. It is a great list for sure. You have just a whole list of everybody. And I love that you've got just so many different areas that people can work in here, that it's not just one technique or one, field that they have to be in. Like everybody's got a good, important part to play. And it looks like you have such a great team. Everybody always looks very dialed in and just really excited. And the classes you have a great list on here about upcoming classes in your firemanship conference, which is in July 20th to the 24th for anybody who's looking. And registration's currently open?
No.
January 15th?
Yep, January 15th, because it sells out within minutes.
All right. So January 15th is the registration at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if you guys are listening and watching, make sure you do check that out. Check out their website for any updates. But like Jeffrey said, within minutes, I do believe it because I've seen it, and it's you got to get there. Like it's almost like trying to check in on your airlines. You want to get that first seat, so you want to stand by your computer or your phone and hit that registration button as fast as possible. So is your list all set up for your classes, everything? The whole thing's out.
For firemanship,
Yeah.
we haven't launched everything. When does this come out?
What's that?
Like when does the podcast air?
I don't know yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean that could play a factor into what I could tell here. Give me
Gotcha.
one
Okay.
sec. I mean, I can tell you right now, we are bringing back some of the staples. C.A.N Confidence, that's kind of already been announced. We're bringing back Irons and Ladders with Vent, Dark Side of Ladders. Pretty much the classes that sold out within about 2 minutes. We're bringing back all of them. We do have about 7 to 10 new ones.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So that's
I'm going to share the
exciting.
classes screen right here. So I have the classes screen up right now. So like you just mentioned, beyond the pre-connect, you have Refined by Fire, C.A.N Confidence, Dark Side of Ladders, DIY Engine. You got some good stuff there, man. Really good stuff.
Yep. Working on some other stuff. So the cool part of this, and you mentioned it when I was talking about FireNuggets, is I get to work with my wife again. Cody and his wife and myself and my wife are kind of the top 4 that kind of handle everything for this.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the one that does like all of our fancy social media. She does our whole website. She does all our registration page
Nice.
and everything. So I think she's going to release one today. I don't know which one it's going to be, but she's involved. Andrea's involved. And, we were talking about it today on the phone, actually, before I got on the podcast with you, but we're, working on our spouse track and things like that, which we encourage firefighters to bring their spouse. It's so much fun. They get to learn, they get to hear stories, and we have some of the coolest socials in the world, in my opinion. We shut down a whole street and we just party on the street. We shut down a park, and we got 2 nice pubs we go to.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
How many people do you have that attend this?
So our hands-on last year, we were just shy of 1,000 people.
Wow.
And then our lecture's probably between like 500 and 700. But hands-on wise, just shy of 1,000.
That's impressive. That is awesome. You just keep killing it every year.
Yeah, I mean, we could not do it. I have to give a shout out. We could not do it without the people that give us stuff for free. Keyhose, Elkhart Brass, Scott SCBA, Liquid Death gives us water. So just a bunch of really good people. We get hand tools from Fire Mall Tools, Council Tool, just support pretty much all over the place. That's what makes it incredible, in my opinion.
That is great, dude. Absolutely. I love that when people are helping other people for the mission of just having a great educational conference. And I'm going to bring up also the FireNuggets page so people can see that. So if they're curious about it. So here's the FireNuggets page. If anyone's curious about who they are, what they are, there's all the information here. And you can see that they have their upcoming events listed here. The Firefighter Rescue Academy. You have the Brothers in Battle. So everything is here on this list. And they also have a schedule here for where people are going to be for the Bay Area Fire Conference. You guys are doing great stuff on this. I'm so glad I got to talk to you about what this is, what is you're doing for everybody else. And I think it's just a great thing for everybody to be aware of. And they have their mission statements on here. They have who they are. And I love also that you give, you talked about it before, but for Andrew Fredericks, you talk about that and you give him respect and honor him on the FireNuggets page.
Yeah. Ted and Paul were actually friends with him, and so we always just feel like it's the right thing to do. So he's one of the most instrumental instructors in the fire service, and his articles, writings, teachings still have impact today. So it's the right thing to do. we're definitely blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, it's hard to actually listen to a podcast or a presentation without anybody quoting Andy Fredericks, right? Like usually there's always some kind of quote from him, which is just, he has such a deep influence with everybody that it resonates with a lot of people. So I think that's fantastic. Great work, dude. I absolutely think this is great. So you're helping out March Mayhem. You've got Brothers in Battle, and you said you also do firemanship as well. So firemanship, Brothers in Battle. You have March Mayhem. Anything else you got going on?
I do the rescue survey stuff too, which you just saw that we have that virtual academy. Pretty much, we're also a nonprofit as well. So anything that we do, we don't, take a dime for. The business gets it. And then what we're actually looking to do now is because we do have a decent amount in our bank account, we are looking to help sponsor students to selective search and rescue classes. So my buddy Grant Schwalbe is doing one down in Florida. Basically the same class he does at FDIC, he's doing down in Florida. So we are sponsoring 2 free people to go.
Awesome.
So like that's what we're doing, and then we're gonna keep doing it. Like if BIB has a VES class or any type of search class, we're gonna do it. If Justin Lorenzen or Nick Ledeen have one, Mick Williams, we're gonna offer free passes to those classes as well. And then if you follow any of our stuff, we do talk about cyano kits quite a bit with our teachings. We're doing a little bit of a deeper dive into cyano kits to make sure the efficacy of them is accurate. And then we're looking to hopefully in the future do cyano kit grants, basically. So like if your organization wants cyano kits, but you're like, Jesus, they're like $1,000 a pop, they're only good for a year, we might or might not use them. I don't know if the admin will do that. You can actually, that's what we're looking to do, is to provide those as well. So that's a little bit further down the road, but that's kind of a look into what we're doing.
Oh, fantastic. And you also have a podcast as well, correct?
Yeah, I have one that I'm like one of the main hosts for, and then I also help with the Grabs podcast too. I've only done like 2 grabs, I think, just because of my schedule, but yeah, Nick Ledeen and I are the 2 main hosts for FireNuggets podcast, and then Justin Lorenzen and Jeff Rothmeyer help out with that one as well.
Great. And how often do those air? If anyone's looking for information on those.
Oh boy. So beginning half of the year, this year, we were doing fantastic. And then firemanship hit and Nick's schedule got kind of crazy. So it was kind of sporadic. So we're going to probably try to get back into one every 2 weeks or so come the first of the year. That's our plan. But FireNuggets podcast, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you can pretty much listen to. So that's our plan. But we also have a side podcast, if you will. Nick Papa and Jay Bonifield do a FireNuggets framework. They just bring people in, talk about some tactics and things like that, and kind of dig deep on a topic with a guest.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's on all platforms as well, what they're doing as well, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Love it, dude. Absolutely love it. So, and you're still going strong at your own firehouse, doing your thing. And how do you find all the time to do all this?
Probably an overly supportive wife.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. I mean, I work a normal schedule, 24/48. I do some time trades when I need to travel and things like that. But I also too, like, I'm trying to be more disciplined with the family and going on family trips and, taking my wife on a trip a year. So, you only get so much time off, so you can only do so much. There's time trades in there also, so still trying to effectively do good things in the fire service, but also trying to be the best husband and father that I can be. So kind of trying to manage those. I kind of have a little bit of ground rules for myself now. And it's typically I only do 1 to 2 classes a month unless I clear it with her. And she's like, oh yeah, that'll work with the schedule. But the last half of the year was pretty packed. So it definitely was a trying time. Like August, September, October was definitely hard around here just because of how busy I was. And then also too, we're following up firemanship right after that. So for anybody that wants to know, it's a 100% all year round. You're lining up your sponsors, you're lining up your people to give you things like key, hose, and Elkhart brass and stuff, like to get the logistics for it. You're locking in training towers and stuff. So that one kind of never really shuts off. So there's always like something always something going on. And then FireNuggets too, there's always something going on there too. So, but the beauty in it is we work together. So, that allows us to have some time, whether we're working or not. So she 100% holds the cards in me being able to do what I do.
Yeah, and it's because it's not easy though too, because right, it starts to become a little addicting at first, especially like you get to do all these amazing things and be around all these amazing people, and you want more of it. It's like having fires, like, man, I want more of them. And it's the same thing, at least for me. I felt like going to, again, meeting people. The trains are great, but meeting so many people, it's just, you want to keep going to these events because it's just so much fun, and that social life is fantastic. But then you start losing that grip with your home life, of really trying to stay focused, because when it's all said and done, I think we've all said it, they're still at home for us. And we need to make sure that we keep in track of that, our family and our kids. And you don't want your family to resent you of your life in the fire service or helping others, because as much good as you're doing, you could be doing some damaging stuff at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to find that balance. And I mean, the balance, it's not a one and done thing. 100% like it moves, it sways, it depends on where your kids are in their life, what sports they're in, things like that. It's just trying to figure it out from year to year. It's never a done deal. It's always, you live to give, not to take. You try to give in all aspects. So whether that's in the fire service or my home.
Awesome. Well, as we're winding down, is there anything that you have for advice for other than that? Because that was fantastic. But do you have anything else you'd like to give to all others who are looking maybe to dive into this, or looking to try to develop a conference, and when they are reaching out to you?
Yeah, so kind of I'll do like full circle. So like if you need any assistance, you can reach out to me on anything. Just find me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. You can get my email from you if they ask. I don't really care. You can ask us questions on the FireNuggets website as well. Or if you have any questions about BIB, firemanship, we have links pretty much to answer anything that you could want. So just go on there, look for all that stuff, and we can network with you and help you out with anything. That's probably the easiest way to answer it, other than like break it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're looking to do your own thing, whether it be a conference or a class, I would just quote my favorite book here and just say, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. And it needs to be number one for the mission. So like helping out, the citizens, right? The people we sort of protect. And then 2, it needs to help out the local firefighters, the firefighters and the people you're trying to hold the training for. And lastly, you come last, right? So like, if it's going to make you look good, you're trying to make money on it or whatever, that should be the fucking last thing on your list.
I love that, dude. I'm glad you hit it with that one for sure. I think sometimes we get caught up on wanting to be like showing that we are the best, or, have the coolest shirts for the whatever we got going on. It's all about stickers and shit, but it's about giving back and making us better. You're taking classes because you want to be better, and you want your instructors to be there for you. And it's like a quick tangent. I can't stand when you go to classes or even training in general, and you've got those instructors who are not putting in the work with you. They're not showing you they're not in gear. They're not doing the work that they're going to want us to do. And it's hard to really follow suit and really buy in when they just point at things and they're not sweating and they're not getting dirty with us.
Yeah, 100%. Lead them, If you lead them, you get buy-in. It's easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate it so much. It was a fantastic conversation. So if anybody, there's a lot of great information that we just talked about. So if you're looking for conferences, you can reach out to FireNuggets. They've got a great website, list of great information in there. You got Brothers in Battle, Firemanship, March Mayhem, just to name a few. And you also have Key City Fire Conferences coming up in March as well. And Bears of the Oath in February. So people looking for classes, if you're listening to this, whenever it comes out, those are things that are coming up. So make sure that you are checking those out, reaching out to Jeff if you have any questions, or anybody from FireNuggets. They're going to point you in the right direction. Thank you so much, Jeff. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, my guy. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so you all stay safe. You be well. And here it comes. Nozzle Talk.
Nozzle Talk.
Nailed it.